All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep, really deep, into the world of financial detectives. We're going to find out how these experts catch criminals who are masters at hiding their tracks. We're talking everything from small-time scams all the way up to those massive, billion-dollar scandals that you hear about on the news. So you ready? Let's jump right in.
You know, that quote really hits the nail on the head. The stakes here are just incredibly high. Because, let's be real, financial fraud, it's not just some abstract thing with numbers on a spreadsheet. No, it hits real people hard. It can wipe out someone's retirement savings, it can bring down entire companies, and sometimes it can shape the whole economy. And that is why the job of a fraud examiner is more critical today than it has ever been.
Okay, so here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle the sheer scale of the fraud problem. Then we'll get a little psychological, peek inside a fraudster's mind. After that, we open up the examiner's toolkit. We'll also cover the rules they have to play by, the law and ethics. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at what it actually takes to become a pro in this field.
All right, first stop, the global fraud problem. And honestly, calling it a hidden epidemic is the perfect way to describe it. It's everywhere, in corporations, in government, even in nonprofits. And the scary part, it can go on for years without anyone noticing. So if we're going to fight it, we've got to understand it first.
So the experts, specifically the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, or the ACFE, they break fraud down into three main categories. Think of them as three different playbooks for criminals. And naturally, each one needs a different strategy to crack.
So first up, you've got asset misappropriation. This is the stuff you probably think of first, right? You know, someone skimming a little cash off the top or padding their expense reports. It's by far the most common type of fraud out there. But here's the thing, on a case-by-case basis, it tends to cause the least amount of financial damage.
Next, we have corruption. This is all about abusing power for your own personal gain. We're talking bribery, to win a big contract, or getting secret kickbacks from a supplier. This kind of thing often involves people higher up the food chain, and it just completely destroys trust and any sense of a level playing field.
And then there's the third category, the big one, financial statement fraud. Now listen to this because this is the key takeaway. It happens the least often, but when it does, it is absolutely devastating. This is when the top brass, the C-suite, literally cook the books to lie to investors and the public. We're talking about disasters on the scale of Enron or WorldCom, with catastrophic losses.
Okay, so that's the what of fraud. But what about the why? What pushes a regular, seemingly normal person to cross that line? To commit a crime like this? Well, criminologists have a really famous model to explain this, and it's called the fraud triangle.
The first side of the triangle is pressure. This is the driver, the motivation. It's some kind of problem that a person feels they just can't share with anyone. Maybe it's crippling debt or an addiction, or just this intense, overwhelming need to keep up a certain lifestyle. Whatever it is, it creates that powerful incentive to do something desperate.
The second piece of the puzzle is opportunity. This is the belief that you can actually get away with it. And here's what's so important to understand. This opportunity, it's usually a gift from the organization itself. Things like weak internal rules, not enough oversight, or putting way too much trust in just one person. That's what creates the open door the fraudster is looking for.
And the final side of the triangle is rationalization. This is the story, the justification the fraudster tells themselves to make it okay. You know the classics, "Oh, I'm just borrowing it, I'll pay it back." Or, "You know what, the company owes me this." This is so crucial because it's what allows someone to commit a crime while still looking in the mirror and seeing an honest person, not a crook.
Okay, so we've got the crime, we've got the motive. Now it's time to pop the hood and look at the examiner's toolkit. Let's see how they actually dig in and find the truth.
It's a great question, right? How do you uncover a crime that is specifically designed to stay hidden? Fraud, by its very definition, is buried deep. This isn't like following some simple trail of breadcrumbs. It takes a really systematic, highly skilled game plan.
Yeah, this isn't about some lucky guess or a dramatic aha moment you see in the movies. A real fraud investigation is a super methodical four-step dance. You have to plan your investigation, you gather evidence, you conduct interviews, and finally, you report the cold, hard facts. Every single one of those steps is deliberate, precise, and essential.
And in today's world, that evidence is almost always digital. So fraud examiners have had to become digital detectives. They're using these incredible forensic tools to pull back deleted files, to comb through emails, and to trace every single digital footprint. They can even look at the hidden data inside a document. It's called metadata, to see if someone tried to change it after the fact. It's amazing stuff.
But these examiners, they're not just some rogue agents out there doing whatever they want. They have to operate within a really strict framework of laws and ethics. It's not enough to just find the truth. You have to find it the right way. So when a fraud case goes to court, it can go down two different paths. On one hand, you have criminal law. That's all about punishment. The government has to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a really high bar. But on the other hand, you have civil law, which is about making the victim whole, about compensation. And here the plaintiff just has to show it's more likely than not that the fraud happened. As you can see, that's a very different standard of proof.
And guiding every single move they make is that strict code of ethics we mentioned. The ACFE is crystal clear on this. Integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, these are the core principles. An examiner's entire professional reputation, their credibility, it all hinges on sticking to these rules. They're absolutely non-negotiable.
And that brings us to our final section for today. If all this talk about investigation and justice and finding the truth, if that sparked something in you, you're probably wondering, okay, so how do I get in on this? How do I officially join the fight?
Well, the answer is the Certified Fraud Examiner Credential, or CFE for short. This isn't just some certificate. It is the globally recognized gold standard in the anti-fraud world. Earning it proves you have mastered everything we've been talking about. And getting that CFE designation is, well, it's a pretty big deal. It's a tough process. You need the right education. You need at least 2 years of real-world, relevant experience, and you have to prove you're of high moral character. It's a major accomplishment, and it tells the world you are seriously committed to this profession. So, I'll leave you with this question. Do you think you have what it takes? Do you have that burning curiosity, that sharp, analytical mind, and, most importantly, the integrity to step up and join the fight against fraud?
If that question lights a fire in you, then your next step is actually pretty clear. Look, everything we've gone over in this explainer, it's all based on the official CFE Exam Prep Guide. It is the resource packed with all the in-depth knowledge and strategies you need to get going. You can grab it right now on Amazon, and get this, an audiobook version narrated by Tom Brooks is coming to audible.com very soon. There's a whole hidden world of deception out there, and now you know exactly how to start uncovering it.